Hi everybody, I'm Grant and today I'm going to take you on a tour of SudokuExchange.com. This is a site you can use for solving Sudoku puzzles and for sharing Sudoku puzzles. When you come to the site, you'll be greeted with a big button to launch the app, so let's click on that now. And then you'll get the option to click on one of these puzzles that users of the site have shared recently. So that's one way to get started. But what I'm going to do today is enter a new puzzle into the grid. Now, you might find a puzzle in a newspaper or a magazine or even another website. Here's one I found on Reddit. And if I arrange my windows side by side, then I will take the numbers I can see over here and enter them over here. So I can select any cell just by clicking on it with the mouse. I can use the arrow keys to move around. This will also work on your tablet or your phone using the touch screen. If I enter a digit into a cell, then the focus moves to the next cell, so I can just put the next one in. Here I clicked on the on-screen keyboard, but you can use your normal keyboard, the arrow keys, the number keys. You can just type away, and it's surprisingly quick to enter. And you'll notice when I make a mistake, it highlights it immediately and the focus doesn't move. So I can correct the error. In this case, I just need to delete that and put it in the right place. And nearly there. Now, as I enter the digits, it's entirely likely I'll make mistakes. You saw me make one there. It's easy to get digits swapped the wrong way around. So when you've done this, you can hit the check button and it will check for any errors, but it will also attempt to solve the puzzle, and it will warn you if it can't find a unique solution. And that might be because there's no solution at all, or because there's more than one solution. So when you do the check, it'll let you know if there was anything wrong. In this case, there wasn't. If I got this digit wrong and ran the check, it warns me that there is no unique solution. So let's fix that up. And then I can click Start. I don't need this window anymore, so I'll go back here. And in fact, up on the top bar here, I have a full screen button where I can make it even larger. You'll almost certainly want to use that on a mobile device to get the maximum screen real estate. So, what other things do we have on this bar across the top here? Over here, we've got a timer running. Now, not everybody wants a timer running, so if we don't, we can go into the settings by clicking on this cog button and turn off the timer. While we're here, we could also turn on dark mode. Save that. Now the timer's gone and the theme has moved to one that might be easier on the eyes, less eye strain. But for this video, I'm going to switch back to the normal mode. But the option's there. Also, over on the right-hand side, this button here is the menu. When you've entered a puzzle, you can share it by selecting this option. You could grade it. You could give it whatever difficulty level you thought it had, and share it with your friends and family on social media. You can also just share the URL. I don't know if you can see down the bottom of the screen, the URL is really just a big long string of numbers, so 81 digits, which are all the digits from the grid with zeros for the blank cells. That way of representing a Sudoku puzzle as a string of numbers is relatively common. So if, for example, you were doing a puzzle and you got stuck, you could select this option to open this puzzle in a solver, and it sends across that string of digits, which pre-populates the puzzle over here, and then you can step through the solver, taking step by step. It'll tell you what it's doing, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to solve it for real. Also, if you happen to have one of these strings of 81 digits that maybe you got from a different site, you can come in here, select paste a new puzzle, and just paste them in here in one go rather than individually entering them in each cell. While we're looking at the menu, the recently shared, we saw that at the beginning. We've seen the settings. There's also a help screen here, which tells you how to enter digits and pencil marks, all about different hotkeys that you might use, what the different settings mean, and what the different options on the menu are. So that's the menu. So let's get back to the puzzle and see if we can solve it. Now, I've left a link to this puzzle in the description, so you can pause the video and go and try and solve it yourself if you like, or come back to it at the end once you've seen the features of how this app works. So that link is down below. Now, some people are really good at scanning backwards and forwards across the grid and finding patterns. I'm not, so I tend to do things in a very systematic way, looking for all the ones, then all the twos, and so on. So I'll click on one, and straight away I can see I can place a 1 over here. So we've got 1 in column 7, 1 in column 8, and place the 1 in column 9. Now, this is at least a moderately hard puzzle, so I'm going to pencil mark as I go. So what I can see here is over in this 3 by 3 box, there are only 2 places where a 1 could go. Now, what I can do there is I can switch into pencil mark mode and click the 1. Now, when you're entering digits, you can use the on-screen keyboard. If you're using a computer with a keyboard, you can use your keyboard, and you can switch between the different modes. If I hover on the word mode, you can see the keyboard shortcuts there. Z puts me in digit entry mode. Next to it is X, which puts me in pencil marks in the corners, or outer pencil marks. Next key along is C, which puts me into the mode for pencil marks in the center, which we'll come to later. And the last mode is V, which allows you to put coloured highlighting in different cells. So if I come back to this mode, so you can switch modes either by clicking here or using the hotkeys. You can press digits on the screen or on the keyboard. However, there is another way to switch modes, and this is what I tend to do myself. is I leave it in the digit entry mode, and then on my keyboard, if I hold down the shift key, that switches it into the outer pencil mark or the corners mode, and then I can press a digit on my keyboard, and then when I release the keys, it goes back to digit entry mode. If I press Control, it'll put me in inner pencil mark mode, and if I press them both, Control and Shift, it puts me into the color highlighting mode. And in any of these modes, I can either press the keyboard number or click on here with the Shift or the Control as required. So, I've placed a 1, I've put these 2 pencil marks. So what do they mean? They mean, as I mentioned, in this 3x3 box, there's only 2 places that a 1 can go. Now the reason that's important, actually there's multiple reasons, but the first reason it's important is if I manage to place some other digit either here or here, then because those are the only places the 1s can go, the other square must be a 1. Right, so that's it for 1s. 2s, I can pencil mark 2 here and here. Now if I hold down the shift key, I can select 2 different cells, and then using shift 2 I can put the pencil marks in. There's also a bit of a shortcut. If I do over here, if I click and drag, then I want to put pencil marks in these 2 cells. If I just do shift 2, the pencil marks will never be placed in a cell that already has a digit in it. So that can make things a bit smoother. I think that's it for 2s. 3s, not a lot of action going on there. 4, I can place a 4 over here. Up in this box, I have a 4 knocking out these 2, another 4 knocking out these 2. So there's only 2 cells that can contain a 4. So put in the pencil marks. And in fact the same in this box. Not the top row, not the middle column. So 4 can go there or there. And over here, a 4 could go there, there or there. I wouldn't normally bother pencil marking where there's more than 2 positions, so I'll just leave that for now. Move on to 5s. All these 5s are operating on the central box, and the 1 cell left that could contain a 5 is there. Looking around the rest of the grid, up in this top box, there are 3 places where we could put a 5. Over here, there's also 3. Down here, there's also 3. And over here, also 3. So I'm not going to bother pencil marking those, but we know about that for later. 6s. Once again, I can place a 6. These 2 6s allow me to pencil mark a 6 up here. Now I've got 2 numbers in the cell. So the 4 could go there or there, the 6 could go there or there. This doesn't mean it must be a 4 or a 6, because we might have the 4 there and the 6 there, so it could be something else. So that's something to bear in mind with these pencil marks in the corners. So still looking at 4s, sorry, sixes. This one here might be a little harder to see. This eliminates these two cells. One over here eliminates these two cells, so there's only two places where a 6 could go. And that's good because that allows us to pencil mark over here. Without those two, we could look at this box and think those are the places where a 6 could go. This one eliminates this column, this one eliminates this row. So there's 3 places we could put a 6 and we might not pencil mark it. But now that we know the 6 must be here or here, either of these would eliminate that one. So in fact, there are only 2 places we can put a 6. Right, moving on to the 7s. Can place a 7 in the middle box. We can place another 7 over here. We know it must be in the middle row and it's not in the first column. Then we can pencil mark a 7 up here and pencil mark a 7 down here. And there's 4 places we could put a 7 up there, so I won't bother pencil marking that. Now, 8s. That one's eliminated, so we can put an 8 in the middle box. Up above it must be in the 3rd column, and it can't be in the 3rd row, so there's an 8 in there. That allows us to pencil mark over here. And what else can we see? This pair of cells here could be an 8. And I think that's pretty much it. 9s, obviously we can finish off this central box with a 9. There's not too much else going on with 9s. So we've been through them all once. We've placed a few digits in the grid along the way, so it might be worth starting again and going through and checking each of those. I'm just going to have a quick scan. The fact that I've filled this column of this box leads me to look up here. And yes, if I look at this 3, you can see before there could have been a 3 here, but now that's filled up. These are the only places a 3 could go. Now that's useful because a 3 in either of these would eliminate 3s here, and we already know we can't have 3s here, so we can pencil mark 3s here or here. So that's those ones. Oh, and over here, still on the 3s, now that we've got an 8 up there, there's only 2 places left that could contain a 3. Okay, that's about all I can see for that strategy. So the next thing I would do is I would start filling in some candidates in some of these rows and columns where we've got a lot of digits already. So if we pick on this one, overall we're missing a 2, a 3 and a 9. So you'll notice here I've pressed the Control key so I'm in central or inner pencil mark mode. That's putting the digits in the middle. Then if I click here and do the 2 again, Control 2, that will toggle the 2 off because there's a 2 in this box. Can't eliminate anything else. If we look at the next row and do that again, this time it's 1, 3 and 9, and this one can't be a 1. So I'll toggle that off. So we didn't really learn a lot from those two rows. This column is 4 cells. We're missing 1, 2, 6 and 9. Now at the top, it can't contain 2's. Could be 1, 6 or 9. This one can't be a 6. That one's not restricted at all. These 4 cells are looking for 1, 3, 4 and 9. So this one can't be a 4. This one can't be a 1 or a 3. They're in that row. This one can't be a 1 or a 9. And that one's not restricted at all. Looking at the next column, we're looking for 3, 4 and 6. Can all go up there and there. This one can't be a 6. Now that's interesting because we've got a 3, 4 here and a 3, 4 here. So it's a pair, a 3, 4 pair. We know the 3 and the 4 must go in these 2 cells in some order. We don't know the order yet, but that tells us that there can't be a 3 or a 4 up in here. If we eliminate those, we've only got a 6 left. Also, down here, we can't put a 3 or a 4 in there. So that's narrowed that one down quite significantly. So, where does that? It is. Now, if I look at, I put a 6 in, that allows me to say, well, these 2 here, 6 must be one of those 2, and we've put pencil marks for 6's over here. So in both these boxes, the 6 is locked into row 1 or row 3. So there can't be 6's in any of these cells. It must be over here, and it can't go there. So the 6 must be here. Now, because I've pencil marked, I know that the 8 is in one of these 2 cells. So when I put the 6 here, I've eliminated one of those possibilities. There is only one place where the 8 could go. So I'll pop that in there. And that 8 works with this one and this one. Put the 8 in here, which eliminated the 8 from here. Puts the 8 there. And now I've got all the 8s. You'll notice the 8 is highlighted on the on-screen keyboard to tell us that. So looking across here, there's only 3 cells, 3 numbers, 2, 4 and 9. So this one could be 2 or 9. This one could be 2, 4 or 9. Next I'm looking down here. Now there's 5 cells. I've already put the candidates in here, so if I highlight the other cells, we're looking for 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So if I put those all in, these 2 can't be 6. Don't know much else there. This one, we've got a 3 and 5 up there, so we'll knock those out. This one, we've got a 2, 4 and 6 up here, so let's get rid of those. Now, we've got 3 and 5, but if we highlight the 3's, earlier I pencil marked 3's in these 2 cells here. So if we know the 3 must be here, it can't be there. We've eliminated it from there. The way we concluded this was when we had this 3 in this column filled up, that meant the 3's had to go here and here, and that also would eliminate a 3 from this cell. So this must be a 5. Now that we've got that 5, that works with this one and this one to give me a 5 in here. But once again, we pencil marked a 7. So when I put a 5 in here, there's only one place left for a 7. Put it in there. Placing that 7 allows us to pencil mark 7s up here, which is interesting because we've also got 6s in these exact same cells. So if a 6 can only go here or here, and a 7 can only go here or here, it's a 6-7 pair, and it can't possibly be a 4. So the 4 must be over there, which eliminates the 4 from here. So that gives us the 9, which gives us the 2. That 9 now gives us the 1 down here, which gives us the 3 up here, which gives us the 4 and the 3 and the 4. Got a 2-3 pair here, which in fact we've only got one place for a 6, so we already knew that. And we're looking pretty good. So now I'm zeroing in on these 2 squares, which must be a pair. Must be a 4-9 pair. And we've got 4s up there, so this must be the 4. This must be the 9. And that 9 eliminated the 9 from here, so we know the 9 must go down here. And we know the 2 must go there. Now also before this whole, also this 3 eliminated the 3 we'd pencil marked there, so that 3 must go there, and this 1 which we placed here, it knocks out 1s from here. So there's only one place for a 1. There's only one place for a 1 in this box. We can pencil mark 1s up here. What are we missing down here? 2 and 4. Well, we know where the 4 goes. 2 allows us this 2, and this 2 mean it must go there, which eliminates a 7, so we know the 7 goes there. That eliminated a 7 here, so we've got a 7 and a 6, which gives us the 6 and the 1, which gives us the 1. We're missing along this top row 5 and 9, so the 5 must go here, and the 9 here, and the 3 here. 5 and 9 over here, so this must be the 9 and 5. 3, 9, 2, 3, 9, 2, and 3. There we go. Now, just a quick recap. When you come in here, you will be greeted with this screen, which gives you some puzzles you can just click on to solve. You can enter a new puzzle, you can paste in a new puzzle if you had it. But there's another thing that you can do, which I will just demonstrate now. If we go back to the Sudoku Exchange website, go to the bookmarklets page. Now in my browser here, I'm using Firefox. I don't currently have a bookmarks bar, so if I go into Customize, turn on the bookmarks toolbar and click Done. Now on this toolbar which appeared, I will put New Folder and I'll call it Sudoku. Then, if I scroll down this page, you'll notice there's a number of these bookmarklet icons. So if I take one of those and drag it and drop it in this menu option here, and I'll do that with a few others as well, and you can see it's adding them to the menu. As I go. So now I've saved those bookmarklets, and those are little bits of code that work like this. If at any time in the future I'm on, say, the New York Times Sudoku page, and this will work for any of these difficulty levels, if I click on the menu and select New York Times, that code will run and load up the exact same puzzle that we were looking at on this site. It'll find the digits and it'll send them over in the URL, and we can solve that puzzle on here with the different tools that are available here compared to that site. And that's pretty much all I had to show you, except if you're a developer, you may be interested to know that this is free software. So the source code is available over on GitHub. So you can contribute to that. You can make it better and send me patches, or you can raise issues if there are bugs that you find or feature suggestions that you'd like to put forward. And that's it. Thank you for listening.